Danica Tormolin, VP of Group Content for Trade Show News Network by Informa, and I am joined by Mark Hatch. Hi, Mark, and
Hey,
he is the founder of the Nest Group by Informa. So welcome.
thank you. It's good to be here.
So tell us a little bit about the Nest Lounge that we have here. We're at the restaurant show, so tell
Well,
us about it.
I mean, I don't know if you count your steps, but the restaurant show, you probably put in what, about 10, 15 miles over the 3 days. So yeah, we have a really awesome lounge here for Nest members. The Nest is a C-suite, a support group for restaurant chain executives. And so 20 plus locations typically, all heads of their department are C-suite, and they're at the show. We're glad they're here, and they need a place to kind of decompress. So that's what we're
So
all
tell us about some of the big names that are here. When you say, C-level executives from restaurant groups with more than 20
yeah, we're in
locations,
20
right? So
locations.
name drop for me.
Yeah, I mean, like Five Guys is here, Shake Shack is here. We have Let Us Entertain You, right? I mean, highly respected, Chicago-based, fine dining, full service restaurant. And then many others. There's a lot of movers and shakers too, like kind of in the more regional and emerging chain category. So we have pretty good, diverse group of restaurant chain executives. So,
So when did you found the
um,
group?
so my role at Informa for the last over a decade now has been to really build strong relationships with restaurant chain executives. And so in that process over the last 10 years, started with little personal notes. I didn't know anybody, and now it's turned into this great, incredible network. I consider them friends at this point. And I was just having conversations with them, and I could see that there was a need. They needed to come together
Right.
to take on the industry challenges. And so I started doing that with CIOs,
Uh,
and we got about 25 in the room. And I just kind of got out of the way and I said, hey, let's talk it through and let's use this as a lifeline. Let's make it high level, solution driven discussions, and let's see what happens. And so great things started occurring. And so I built another group, a CEO group and a CMO group. And now we have over 550 members, and we'll probably get to, I would say, 1,000 by the end of 2027. That's the goal.
How?
Yeah. So we're going to change the industry. I feel like it's going to evolve into the most powerful C-suite community and kind of the go-to place to find answers. So
What was your passion behind it? Why food service and what's your passion behind
first
it?
of all, this is the greatest industry in the world, in my opinion, right? I mean, everyone likes talking about food. Everyone has an opinion. It's when you get into the kind of the C-suite realm, especially with the chains, like everyone knows each other. It's ancestral. And, I saw the need there. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted operators kind of have a go-to place to find solutions. I also wanted to build my network. I wanted to go from like, the nice guy that we know at the conference, Mark Hatch, to, Mark is kind of the connector. He brings together, but he's the go-to person to find solutions. And one thing that I looked at too is I would talk to operators that would have a problem. And as soon as they say, this is the problem that we're facing, I get excited. So I'm like, I think I can help find that solution. And I would do that, and it's gratifying, but then you're forever connected to
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Yeah. So, we're all trying to figure this out together. And I feel like we have a responsibility on the media and event side to contribute to that. So,
So tell me all the C levels that you cover right now. So
yeah.
finance, information,
Yep.
marketing.
Yep. So CEO, CMO, CFO, COO. We have global supply chain. We have domestic supply chain.
Okay.
We have a founder's nest. Um, and then we are building HR nest, a culinary nest, chief development officers, so those involved with franchise sales. And I mean, we're open to whatever we need to build next. So sky's the limit.
So what does the membership include? Like tell us what it's like for a member the rest of the year besides today, right? Or this
Yeah,
week.
it's a great question. First of all, we want active members. There is a small percentage that, I know they're busy. They have a lot of things going on. And they're not fully participating. It's kind of a missed opportunity because every call that we have, every gather we have, there's always these great ideas and partnerships that are forming. So we want people that are going to show up to the majority of meetings. They won't be able to make all of them. We meet once a month virtually.
Okay.
And again, that's operator only time. We love our vendors. They're an essential part of the ecosystem.
Yeah.
But if they're in the room for that discussion, it's going to change. I want it to be candid, unadulterated. Anything goes. Give me the good, bad, and the ugly. So active members, 20 plus locations, willing to participate and come ready and willing to share. If you're just going to be in the room and just take all that knowledge but not contribute, it's probably not a good fit for you. But yeah, so we have the virtual stuff, then we
Okay.
have in-person gatherings as well too. So we
Okay.
have usually like 3 or 4 nest alone meetings and gatherings.
Okay.
And then inside of each of our leadership conferences, like Restaurant Leadership Conference and FS Tech and Create, we have nest gatherings as well too. So
So,
that's a part of the membership.
so what did you do here? Tell me about the meeting that you had here
Oh,
and then what the experience is like here.
yeah, we had a really great time. So this is the first time we've done an all nest conference. Usually it's by title. We just bring those groups together, right? This time we brought all the different nest members from supply chain to finance to IT, even some people that aren't necessarily in specific roles. If they were like, say, HR, we haven't developed that nest group yet, they were welcome to come. So good, diverse group. They're sharing with each other. And we did that, bolted on the front of the NRA show on Thursday. We took about half a day, and we had the operator only time. We brought in our vendors. We had bird circles, is what we called them, and they participate in the conversation. We had a mentalist, so it was kind of a fun, entertaining component. And then we brought in the CEO from Let Us Entertain You to talk about his story and how the brand started and how do they create that strong culture in sales. So yeah, it's been a really great time. And then we have our Nest Lounge, like I mentioned, they can come and kind of decompress here and like kick their feet up a little bit. So
Yeah. What
yeah.
are the needs of the C level? Like what are you seeing, them talking about and expressing an interest here at the show about?
They're definitely looking at technology, right? I mean, as uh, there's so many pressing issues right now. Labor costs are crazy. Cost of food is up. I feel like frequency is down. Now this isn't across the charts, but I would say that's the majority of sentiment.
Yeah.
So I think they're here looking for that technology that's going to help kind of lower overhead, um, just make the whole experience better. So that's definitely one thing. I think they're looking for partnerships too. At the end of the day, this is a human to human business. And with each new partnership or each new introduction, there's lessons learned. You give two like CIOs or two CEOs that are in a similar situation together, let them talk for 15 minutes. That might justify their entire trip to come to the show.
Yeah.
So, but also too, I
Exactly.
think they're putting their finger on the
Yeah.
pulse of what's new out there. The show has so many different options, and I think they're discovering that here at the show.
So what's the vendor? Does this network work with the vendors? Or,
Yeah,
what part do they have in it?
yeah. So vendors, I mean, they're key, right? And they should be a true partner, right? We talk about vendor partners, but are they really a partner? Are they taking you to that next level of your business? And that's the way that it should be, and the way that it should play out. So, I think that with the vendors, they come in, they should bring ideas. You should be in lockstep with them. There should be an open line of communication. I think some of our operator partners, they get a little frustrated with vendors that they can't get a hold of. They have this contract in
Yeah.
place. There's always inevitably an issue that comes up, but they just want a vendor that's going to be open, and so they can help them resolve that. And just be transparent about what's going on. If there's an issue, just come to us, right away, and we'll work through that. So
Communication,
the
right?
communication is
Yeah.
key.
In a
Absolutely.
relationship
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
you can tap.
It's really, and a lot of people like it's just such a common thing. Like, everyone knows that, right? But a lot of people just forget, like, got to get back to the basics of communication and working through those problems together. So,
So our audience is mostly trade show organizers like Informa and other organizers. Any advice for launching something like this within a different event?
yeah. So I think every industry could have something like the
Yeah.
Nest. First off, we don't charge our operators to participate.
Okay.
It's the vendors that come in and support and sponsor. But again, they come in at the right times. We integrate them at the right times. But I think that there's a need for every single industry to have something like this. I think the key is you got to have a good network. So you got to find that person that has the relationships. And they're the ones that are going to kind of get through to those executives at their level. They're just bombarded. And so they have to have that personal connection with you. So that's probably one of the first things. And then, I think you just got to make sure you get the right people in the room and let it be theirs. Let them kind of drive the conversation. When I'm moderating these virtual meetings and the in-person meetings, I'm really not doing much. And I don't claim to be the smartest guy in the room. I'm not the expert. I just move the conversation along. But I think it's really key to get the right people in the room, be methodical about that, and then let them kind of drive the conversation. Don't make it too structured. And you have that relationship, you get the right people in the room, and then you can just build upon that.
Yeah.
So
And now you're looking at by the end of 2027 having 1,000 members in
yes,
that.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I mean,
Yeah.
I know at the rate that we're going, and one good sign is that a lot of the current Nest members are referring the rest of their executive team over.
Mhm.
So to me, that's a sign like we're kind of past proof of concept that they're seeing the value in it and they
Yeah.
trust to bring their CEO in. Um, and so yeah, it's really exciting. And I think that the way that we're pacing, we'll beat 1,000. And I don't see why this in 10 years or so wouldn't be 5,000
Can't
members.
scale.
All
Yeah.
C-suite will be involved, and we're
Yeah.
going to change the industry collectively. So
Well, we're seeing more and more trade shows and events do micro events, right? Targeted, personalized, events for, you have the big show overall, but then, content for a specific audience segment like sea levels.
I love that. I'm glad you touched on that. That's actually a comment I wanted to make is we have a lot of big events, but we're trying to create intimate situations in those big events.
Exactly.
Because look, I mean, operators on the restaurant side, their margins are so small already. It's hard to justify coming to a conference, let alone bringing the team. I mean, it could be $40,000 when it's all said and done. If you take everything into consideration, you're bringing a big team, especially from some of the bigger chains. So I think like with that, you got to make sure that they're going to get the right content. They're going to be with the right people. They're going to have that operator only time. And I think if we build more of those small kind of intimate settings, they're going to be more likely to return. And in the event space too, there's a lot of competition out there. So you got to differentiate yourself from the competition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's that peer to peer. Not only are you getting the micro event, but then you're also getting, peer to peer interaction, which is really
Yes.
like you said, what drives. You put them together and then
Yeah.
they can run with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're doing more and more. That's been one of my initiatives with Informa, and we're seeing really cool things. And the Nest too is helping to increase the quality of attendees at our events because the Nest members know, okay, we're having a gathering at Restaurant Leadership Conference, we're having a gathering at Create, and it's kind of like this fraternity sorority feel. Like I got to be there, all my peeps are going to be there, right? So that's exciting, and I think the higher quality the event, the more likely we are to bring in the right vendors. The ratio is better. The operators benefit from it. So just everyone kind of benefits from that. So
Okay, last question. Tell
yeah.
me about the name. Why Nest?
I wanted well, my name's Mark Hatch, Nest, right? But ultimately, that's not really where it came from. A nest is a safe haven, right? And that's what we wanted it to be. We wanted it to be simple, memorable. Like I had like an acronym initially, and it was like no one remembered. And I was like, let's just get simple with this. But ultimately, like you come to the nest, it's going to be all off the record. The right people are going to be there, and you're going to walk away with new ideas and best practices. And you're just safe to come as you are and come willing to share, and you're going to benefit from it. So that's kind of the origins of it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so
And
much, Mark.
Danica, you've been
Really
great.
appreciate it.
You too. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. For TSNN, I'm Danica Tormolin.